Why does your voice sound so weird on recordings or phone calls? And why do most people in the world feel exactly the same way? Psychology calls this phenomenon voice confrontation. It happens when someone hears their recorded voice from the outside for the very first time, and it doesn't sound like their own voice. Research says that nearly 98% of people don't like the sound of their recorded voice. So this isn't a weakness, it's literally a universal human experience. In other words, it's something that almost everyone goes through at some point in their life. So let's start with a basic question. Where does the voice you hear inside your head actually come from? When you speak, your ears receive sound in two different ways. The first is air conduction. Your voice travels through the air, moves outside your body, and then reaches your ears. That's the voice everyone else hears. The second is bone conduction. This happens inside your body. When you speak, the vibrations travel through the bones of your skull, directly to your inner ear, and bone conduction naturally makes your voice sound deeper, richer, and fuller. So the voice you've been hearing your whole life is actually an enhanced version. But when you listen to a recording, bone conduction is gone, and that's when your brain gets confused. It says, wait, that's not my voice. Now here's the most interesting question. The voice that sounds thin or weird to you in a recording sounds completely normal to everyone else because they've never heard your bone-conducted voice. To them, that's simply what you sound like. The identity your voice has in their brain is built entirely from that air-conducted sound. That's the voice they're familiar with. Do you think you're the only one who thinks their recorded voice sounds weird? No. Around 98% of people hear their recordings and think, it can't be my voice. And to you, their voice sounds completely normal, natural, exactly the way you'd expect it to. Almost everyone feels uncomfortable with their own voice, yet everyone thinks everyone else's voice sounds perfectly fine. We're all living in the same illusion, just from different directions. Now there's another layer to this, and this one comes from psychology. Back in the 1970s, researchers discovered a phenomenon called the mere exposure effect. We naturally like the things we're most familiar with. You've seen your face in the mirror thousands of times. You've gotten used to it. That's why when someone takes a photo of you, it can look a little strange, because a mirror image and a photo are flipped left to right. The exact same thing happens with your voice. You've always heard the bone-conducted version. That's your comfort zone. That's the version your brain accepts as your identity. But wait, is it really just because it's unfamiliar, or is there something deeper going on? The real answer is hidden in our psychology. Psychologists explain this through something called self-discrepancy theory. Your brain has a mental image of you, an internal picture of how you look, how you speak, and how you sound. When your recorded voice doesn't match that mental image, your brain immediately starts rejecting it. That's why so many people think their voice sounds weird, wrong, or nothing like me. So the problem isn't your voice. The problem is your brain can't instantly match that new sound with the image it has of you. A recording lets you hear yourself the way everyone else has always heard you, and it's that mismatch that makes it feel so strange. So, does this happen to actors and singers too? The answer is yes, absolutely. Benedict Cumberbatch once said in an interview that he felt pretty uncomfortable watching himself in his films at first. Emma Stone has also said that watching her own performances on screen felt physically awkward. But there's one thing professional actors have that most people don't: repeated exposure. The more often they watch themselves on screen, the more familiar it becomes. So, can you do the same thing? Yes. If hearing your voice in a call recording or a voice note always sounds weird to you, don't stop listening to it. Keep listening to it, again and again. The more your brain hears that voice, the faster it will accept it. And one day, the same voice you hear on phone calls won't sound strange anymore. It will simply sound like you. There's one last thing. Your voice isn't weird. Almost everyone feels this way. And to everyone else, your voice sounds completely normal. I'm Nigam. Let me know in the comments. Has this ever happened to you too? And don't forget to subscribe.